Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. As you can see, this is part of Star Wars Saturdays, which is my ongoing anthology campaign. It's up to 4 years at this point, if I count 2017 where it started. It's not 4 full years. Before calendar, who cares? It's been going on for a while. Every month, I choose a different RPG system, offer it up to the Gauntlet, which is this online community of fans, aficionados, and just amazing avid players who like OSR, small press, and indie tabletop role playing games. There's an RSVP system. Folks will RSVP for it. We gather together and walk through creating characters or bringing back characters because it is an anthology campaign. And then we tell a story within that month with 3 to 5 sessions. It's a challenge, and we often rise to meet it. This month in June of 2021, my goodness, we're halfway through 2021. It's crazy. I have decided to try to run Storm Furies. Storm Furies uses the Paragon system created by John Harper and Sean Nittner. The Paragon system is originally created for Agon, which is this game about Greek heroes in ancient times who are in a semi-competitive nature as they go from island to island, trying to defeat nemesis and do heroic deeds. I have used Storm Furies, which is John Harper's hack of it that he released on his Patreon. Now, Storm Furies is a little more BSG than it is Star Wars, so I've trimmed off some of the BSG-ness to try to make it feel more Star Warsy. And the pitch behind this game is that it is a Starfighter Academy. So I've tried to keep in the competition. And the competition is that your characters will be going on training missions called hops, and those hops will earn you glory. At the end of the training missions, whoever has the highest glory wins the Dark Lighter trophy, named after Big Dark Lighter, the heroic X-Wing pilot who died during the assault on the first Death Star. Now, you might notice some familiarity with Tachyon Squadron from Fate, which is a very cool setting for Fate sci-fi space opera stuff. I've used that as a little bit of our frame, talking about some of the characters that are created from it, the idea of competition for a trophy. So I've tried to marry two completely different games that are not Star Wars and then shave off some of the edges to make it Star Warsy. So occasionally we might run into a rough edge that we need to sand off real quick because I didn't see it happening. But I feel pretty confident that with this group, we're going to be able to tell a very exciting and amazing story. Paragon system is a game where I, the GM, occasionally rolls dice. I'm really uncomfortable. No, I'm joking. I used to roll dice when I was a GM a lot. I just got spoiled by games like PBTA. But this game's pretty cool, and it's pretty wild how things work. So I'm looking forward to it. So with that in process, before we move on to introducing everybody, let me quickly go over our safety tools. We have lines, which means this is a line we don't cross. We're not interested in that content in our fiction. We have veils, meaning we're okay if this happens, but we don't want to shine a light on it. So it'll be one of those where we fade to black, we do a quick star wipe away. And then the last one is ask first. And that's where contextually this could be okay, but before you introduce this piece of content, please check in with us as players, as participants in the game. Hey, I was thinking about introducing a character who's a little bit speciesist, right? Had a thing against a particular individual species. Is that cool? And if any one person says, can you try it a different way? Then please do. And if you get stuck by that or by someone doing this thing that's also here, the X card, Feel free to source the table. Oh, I'm a little stuck for an idea. You can always check in with us. There's a lot of creativity here, so I feel confident that everything will work out. So we have a number of lines and veils and ask firsts that have been chosen by the group, and they are in our character keeper, so we can all reference that. I'll do my very best to keep track of that as we play, but we're all participants in this. So if anyone sees a thing where someone missed a bit, and we're like, "Hey, that's a line," we just gently remind us because we're all playing with the best of intent, and then we strike that out. Now, sometimes you may run into something where you're like, "I didn't realize we would be dealing with that," and that's where the X card comes in. You didn't realize this content would be something that we would deal with, or you didn't realize it would bother you as much as it is. Whatever the reason is, you can say, "Hey, I need to X card a thing." You can make an X. You can type it into chat, which I invariably check. Also on our die roller, there's the ability to X card a thing. Whatever you feel most comfortable with in trying to communicate that to us, we'll all be cognizant of that. What an X card does, it means that's gone. You don't have to justify yourself. I, as the GM, I'll pause just to check in, take the temperature. If this is a thing where we maybe need to take a break, we'll do that. If we need to go off camera, that's perfectly fine too. But I may ask you a question of what was it that you X carded if it's not clear to me, and then it's gone. You don't have to tell me why. You don't have to do any of that. It's already enough that you needed to X card. I want to exacerbate that issue. And that's all the safety talk. Open doors in effect, of course, because if you need to, you can step away. We're adults. I assume you're here for fun. And if you decide that there's a thing that needs your attention, just go do it. If you feel like you're going to be gone for the whole session, if you can drop me a note, great. If not, I'll wait for a little bit. I may call a break. And if you're not back, then we'll continue on. No harm, no foul. So that's all out of the way. Whew. Let's go around the horn and have everybody introduce themselves as players, because we're going to introduce our characters in a more cinematic way. I'm pretty excited about. So let's start. I'm going to go from the right hand side of the character keeper towards the left, which means that Joe, you get to introduce yourself. Hey, Joe.
Hey, I'm Joe, Jolene. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Saturdays throughout the years and just, gauntlet stuff. And I played with everyone here before. So, all right, looking for a good time.
Joe. And then next up would be Stephen.
Hi, I'm Steven. My pronouns are he, him, and I like Star Wars, and I've been playing Star Wars Saturdays for a while. It's good.
Next up is Greg.
Hey, I'm Greg Gelder. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me online most everywhere as Group Soliloquy, and I do also play a lot of Star Wars Saturdays. I love it. Excited to be playing Star Furies.
Yay. And last but certainly not least, Brandon.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I've been with Gauntlet since the middle of last year. I finally got into some Star Wars Saturday stuff and love it. And am very happy to be playing this version of Storm Furies.
Cool. And Brandon, what pronouns do you prefer?
Oh, he, him. Sorry.
Awesome. Fantastic. Sweet. So we quickly jump to the planet of Chandrilla, which is located in the core world. And in orbit over Chandrilla is this, Star Wars. So it's been around for a long time. The station, which you can find in NPCs and places, known as Crucible Station. So Crucible Station is very large. It houses hundreds of people. And as we first come in, we see there are a number of X-Wings like shoo, 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 zip past. And then we come into a particular shuttle. So who's arriving on Crucible Station on this shuttle? And the shuttle looks like it came out of hyperspace. So it came from off planet. It didn't come up from Chandrilla itself. So who'd like to say they're the person that's on, their character is at least one of you is the person on the shuttle?
I'll be on the shuttle.
Awesome. So Buttercup and Vixen are on the shuttle. So, Jolene, if you could tell us a bit about what we see as the camera pops into this shuttle. Tell us a little bit about the shuttle and then your character.
So the shuttle is a base. I don't know that many transport shuttles in Star Wars, but it's like pretty basic. It's not like the trifoldy ones. Those but it's like one of those long, almost freighter looking, I guess.
Yeah. Cool.
But inside, Janela's got like she's a Zeltron, pink skin. Right now, her hair is dyed purple. She's got like a duffel at beneath her feet as she's dressed far too fashionably for like most students and recruits and pilots would be expected to. And she's just like looking around, smiling, like, okay, all right, you know.
Awesome. And as you're doing that, Janela, I'm imagining
she's like talking with whoever's like right next to her, like nonstop.
Oh, sweet. So this young Twi'lek, he comes up and he's got like a stuffed Wookiee, and he recognizes you from the Hollows. Like he recognizes you from Arcs of the Force, and he's like just so excitedly like asking you to sign his Wookiee.
Oh my god, of course. Or oh my Force, of course.
And he does it like you get the feeling that maybe he wasn't allowed to watch all of the Hollows, but he's seen enough to where he knows your character, and he's just so very excited. And his little Leku twitch happily as you sign his.
Yeah. This doll of Greg's character.
Yeah. Long pause. Greg's character. Does Greg remember that character?
I remember the Wookiee. I just can't remember the name. Not off the top of my head right
now. I feel bad, but I was like furiously trying to look it up, and Jelly called me out on it.
No, I didn't know, but I'm like,
but I'm like talking
like, oh, I noticed you have a. You don't have okay.
Toy Gurley.
It's all right, you know.
My mom wouldn't let me keep my my Khaleesi Nile because I kept taking her clothes off.
Okay.
You're a snort from somewhere in the cabin.
Sweet. So the snort comes from who? Tell us about who else is here.
It comes from Buttercup, who's been watching this whole interchange, trying not to burst out laughing, making a remark, and it's like, boy, they're digging deep for pilots, aren't they? What and the other one, and the person I'm talking to, I don't know who they are, says, what, the Zeltron? No, the Twilight. I'll bet you 5 he washes out before the halfway point.
Ooh.
And the other one says done.
Oh, I think this should be Flight Sergeant Ode Bid Kanga, the Rhodian, who's supposedly from Nar Shaddaa, who you just made a bet with, because that seems appropriate. So
yes,
you bet some credits that Janela will wash out.
Not Janela. No, not Janela. The starstruck Twi'lek. Yeah. It's
well,
like,
seeing how the Twi'lek kid is like part of the station staff, and
he's part of the station staff. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't make clear.
It's funny if you don't know that and you still make the bet.
Ode will be taking that bet for sure, just for fun. But yeah,
yeah. Well, I still say, well, yeah, the station's scraping the barrel here. We'll see how some of them stand up to the instructors. I proffer a hand and say, Alayla, though most people call me Buttercup.
Oh, you're the lieutenant. Flight Sergeant Ode Conga. They call me Bid.
Nice to meet you. He scans around and says, okay, yeah, no, but I'll retcon it a little bit and say she would scan around and just point at various people. It's like, probably no, pointing out the ones that she thinks are going to make it through training and ones that are not.
Nice. That Ode will listen and take notes
in a very, I mean, in a you know, and she doesn't. It's not a cynical thing. She's got kind of a half a smile on her face when she's doing it. Layla looks like she's been through the war a bit. She's a little weather beaten,
and
as it were.
She's a lieutenant, so did she serve in the rebellion? For timeline's sake, we're like maybe a year past the second Death Star destruction.
Yeah. Did she serve in the rebellion? She did. So you note on the style it says previous experience redacted.
All right.
So she has some experience. She had some experience flying craft other than X-wing, but the X-wing the X-wing is new to her.
Oh, interesting.
And should I just say what it is? Then it's a player secret.
It's if you want to share it now, that's cool.
Yeah.
We can also okay.
Well, whatever you think is more fun.
Let's hold on to it for just a bit. I
Okay.
think it'll be fun to see it revealed.
Yeah, but anybody looking at a record would say, highly, experienced pilot, though not with X-wing things, details redacted.
Yeah, and Bid will say, yeah, me too. Never flown a X-wing. I had a tramp freighter that mostly did ferry work and hut space, so looking forward to it. I mean,
Yeah, nice attack craft. Not the best dogfighters. It'll be interesting working with them.
Yeah. Cool. And then we show the shuttle docking with Crucible Station and a bunch of people coming off, and like the Twi'lek kid with his Twi'lek mom. They are like heading off because this is a big Crucible Station it's like a military base. So there are civilian cities who work here. That was a kid of one of the cities that works in the area. And then as we see Janella or we see Vixen, and I'm going to keep saying Janella, but Vixen, as we see Vixen and Buttercup, because I'm trying to use call signs, friends. That's where I'm going to screw up a lot. Vixen and Buttercup, the two are be heading off, and I'm imagining that like there's a receiving area where all the shuttles are landing, but as you saw from Crucible Station, it gently rotates to have simulated gravity, and so you're following maybe the like dotted red line that will take you where the Starfighter Academy is, and I think that's when we will see one of our two other Star Academy pilots. Who is it that we see next?
Yeah, I can go. So I think that we see Hound as we're walking down the hallway. There's like a workout room, and Hound is in there, punching, and practicing boxing and stuff like that. And he's very aggressive and very, against. I think there's actually a droid in there that he's boxing with. And it's clang clang, and we hear all this, and he's doing a lot of trash talk.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. And I think there's a point where you like connect with the droid just right, and its head like pops up on this weird kind of spring type thing. And it will say
excellent shot, sir.
And then it breaches with this droid and starts kind of pushing the head back down from on the spring. And then as we follow Hound, you see there are some other pilots that are headed back. You're in this like workout room. We'll say there are a couple of pilots who are on treadmills, like running and sweating and getting all the exercise they need in preparation. But once you've beaten down on this droid, Hound, what do you do?
So I think that Hound, goes over to the corner and pulls out a towel and kind of towels off and everything, and looks over at the other recruits that are here, and they all kind of ostracize him a little bit, and stay away from him, and you hear them snicker, and I think as the camera goes by, you hear one of them leaning to the other and say, "I heard he got knocked down from being a lieutenant. I don't know what he did. Maybe he did, maybe he hit the wrong person."
Nasty. Oh, I love that. That is a terrible rumor that I am so happy is out there. And I think the person who says that is Cutter, who is a Deveronian.
Mhm.
She's sharing that with a Pentor, and the two of them are still running. And it's more like a casual, like, yeah, I heard he got knocked down for hitting the wrong guy. That's pretty cool. Sweet. So yeah, eventually Hound, you'll be heading off to the academy area. Where is it that the camera finds Rack Ghoul?
So across from the workout room is the cantina for the station, and possibly as Hound is just turning the corner right to leave for the academy, we hear this like ho 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 ho, and there's a bunch of cadets who have gathered around, and it's Rat Ghoul or Vico. He is at a table, and there's a bunch of like tossed glasses around, and he is locked in a wrestling position with Shorbeka, the Wookiee.
Oh,
and this is sort of like a good-natured bar fight, as a not like we got into a conflict, but like we're settling a dispute with like there's a Star Wars wrestling.
I mean, for the person who ran Galactic Wrestling, Jolene, can you please educate us on this?
But there's there's like a style. Anyways, yeah. So we're like locked and like face to face with each other. And yeah, Vico is a bit naive and may actually believe that he can take on Rebecca the Wookiee, but she is toying with him, and pretending that and then she just flips him over, and everyone cheers, and he laughs.
Oh, he's very good natured. That's awesome. And I think, yeah, sure, Becca will, and then reaches down the big furry paw to help you back up and claps you on the back a little hard and chuckles. And you notice that there are a bunch of people who are headed towards the academy and checking the chronometer. It's time to make your way there. So we should quickly pause because we have now said there's a cantina. So we should name this cantina. Do we have an idea for a cool cantina? I'm going to the cantina name generator.
Hard luck.
Hard luck? Ooh, that's kind of cool.
I like
it's a name of we'll say that's the first cantina. May not be the only cantina, but it's the first cantina that we have identified. So that is now name of a cantina near the academy. Perfect. And I'm gonna shrink that font. There we go. So the four of you, along with a number of other academy students, cadets, make your way to the academy itself. So the Starfighter Academy is the Navy school, the New Republic Navy School for Advanced Starfighter Combat. This is where you are taught the millennium-old art of dogfighting and fighter combat. The campus is on Crucible Station, which is on orbit over the planet Chandrilla. Number of you may have, so you've already completed basic training. A number of your fellow pilots who finished basic went on to other assignments, becoming shuttle pilots, search and rescue pilots. But the four of you and a number of others have been chosen to train to become a member of the Starfighter Corps. And then we quickly do a star wipe with all of you moving in to kind of file in and line up. And you see the staff. So if you look in NPCs and places, you'll see that there is they're all three of the staff in front of you are humans. There is a woman who's in a hover chair. There is a man, a dark-skinned man, and a woman who appears to be rather attractive, blonde hair, and she is wearing captain's bars. Says all of you have made your way through flight training, and based on your marks and your potential, for some of you, based on your previous experience, you have been selected to train in the Starfighter Academy. Crucible, the station is so named because it will be your crucible. I will not allow anyone to graduate from this academy unless they are fit to serve the New Republic and its goals. Each of you will be pushed to your limits here. Each of you will learn what it takes to be successful. I do not expect among all of you that everyone will graduate, and that is okay. There are many places in the New Republic, Navy, where you can serve, but only a select few will pilot an X-Wing. We will push you. We will expect a great deal from you, and you will give it. Now, often, Academy cadets find their best motivation through competition. Every round of the Starfighter Academy, there is an ongoing competition between all of the cadets. You earn points on missions and during classroom training. The person with the highest score at the end of our 8-week training session will be rewarded with the Dark Lighter trophy. Your name will be placed on that wall. And she points back and you see this, like their bronze little insignias that are kind of been drilled into this particular display area. And you see that there are lots and lots of blanks left and just a few select names that have been put on there. And she gestures to the Dark Lighter trophy. Your instructors, your primary instructors in classroom will be Lieutenant Commander Valerie Judge Weaver. She indicates the woman in the hover chair. And civilian contractor and retired Republic Navy fighter pilot Xavier Blank Ramirez. I also will come in from time to time, and I will be here not only to push you, but to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful. Congratulations for making it to Starfighter Academy. May the Force be with you. Dismissed. And then you guys all get to go grab your rucksacks and all your stuff to head into the completely interspecies commingled area where all of your racks are straight down the line. And it is not a great deal of personal effects. So I'm really curious. Oh, it appears that Vixen is no longer Vixen, that there's a new call sign here.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay, so Star Dancer, that's a pretty Janela name. Applause.
It was from Heart to the Force.
No, it's good. I'm
Yeah,
into it. I forgot that was Heart to the Force. That's awesome.
So my thing is, it was assigned to her as like an insult, and she's like, "No, what? Thanks, you're a fan, clearly."
You came in as Vixen, you became Star Dancer, all in one thing. That's perfect. Good stuff. So, Star Dancer, as you come in, you see these long rows of like metal rack to deck. You know, if you guys have seen Full Metal Jacket, if you've seen any like basic training type movies, that's just it. You've got chest at the end, a locker at the end, and then your ruck, either top or bottom. So how does Star Dancer, who's dressed maybe a little more like a civilian than many others, how does she handle these accommodations?
Well, it's not the best, but you know, I've dealt with worse. Let's be honest. I still have my stuff though. Like, you know, just put it in the foot
Do you have
locker.
more stuff that will fit in the locker?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
You're so smart.
I don't know. I can make it work.
Nice. So I think there's a point where you're looking over the stuff and the locker that you've been provided, and Warrant Officer Kaz Karst comes over, puts a hand on your back, and says, "I got some extra room in my locker if you want to."
Oh, sure. Thanks.
Sure, no problem. Just hand over whatever you can't fit in there. I've got your back.
This was who? Warrant
It's
Officer.
Warrant Officer Kaz Karst, so he's on row 10 under trainees.
Okay. Hey, I'm Janella.
Kaz, they call me Amp.
Oh, okay. I think they call me Star Dancer now.
Right, because
That's what this says, so
makes sense. Makes sense.
either or is fine. So I don't. Is it like, are we supposed to call each other by the call sign?
Whatever's easier to remember, I think.
Okay.
I'll definitely remember Star Dancer. He kind of winks, and then he'll take some of your stuff and he like puts it in his locker. So, Hound, where do you end up? Like, do you have a particular person that you end up grabbing a bunk with?
So I think that Hound walks over and look, kind of sizes everyone up and walks over to maybe a more nervous cadet or someone who's a little bit more junior and growls. They're putting their stuff on the bottom bunk. And he kind of walks over and he growls a little bit, and they pick their stuff back up, and he lays down on that bottom bunk.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought we had assigned bunks, but I'll find another one.
And I think Hound just points up, right?
Okay. But Rakul has so there's all these lined up lockers, but there's slightly larger lockers for the officers, and I think Rakul might have manipulated a couple, databases sometime here, on the side, and has requisitioned one of those for himself. So, through an accounting error, there's just so many lockers, and it just worked out, right? It just worked out that way. So
you ended up with the code cylinder. You've got the code cylinder that will open that up. So
yeah, and Rakul it puts away all of his stuff. There's not too much, and then maybe like gets on top of the bunk with Hound below it, goes and like does the whole over the side. So we're bunk buddies. I mean, that's kind of cool.
How'd react to Rakul declaring you a bunk buddy?
Oh yeah, Hound just lays there, doesn't really acknowledge anything, and I think there's this nervous energy that you hit, like That's, I think Red Ghoul's like, that's cool, and Hound's like, just an almost imperceptible nod of the head, like back and forth.
Are you assigned to Fury Squadron?
And at that point, he rolls over, like putting his back to you, right? Yeah.
Okay.
What about Buttercup? Who do you end up bunking with?
I think it makes the most sense if I end up bunking with Stardancer, just because.
Who takes the top bunk?
I'm already setting up in the bottom, so.
I don't care. Buttercup.
But yeah, as you
But
approach, like, oh,
but
do you have a preference?
No. I don't really have any stuff. As long as you don't snore.
I mean, I haven't had any complaints.
I don't expect many people would complain to you.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
They complain about you.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
To you? No. You've got a lot of rep.
Yeah, just a little,
Yeah, you do know that this isn't a holo, right?
I mean, you do know that I wasn't always just a hollow star, right?
I do. I'm not sure most of the people here do.
That's their problem.
Well, everybody's problem is everybody else's problem in a squadron.
Not my job to enlighten them, so.
Then you're going to wish you had a deputy whose job it was.
Yeah, personal assistants seem to be hard to come by around here.
Yeah, yeah. I look forward to seeing what you do.
Yeah, I'm good enough to fly some things, clearly.
I read your BT record. It was better than good enough.
If you say so. I mean, I've heard the rumors that I'm just here for a new poster child thing, but
I've heard those too. But the record's good enough to stand on its own. Question is just whether they would have, bumped you up or down for being something novel. Once you get into the cockpit, everybody looks the same.
oh yeah, totally.
And,
Not used to the smallest ship. That is going to be interesting.
small. These are the X-wings are pretty roomy for me.
Yeah.
I'm used to a tighter pilot compartment.
Oh wow. What do you normally or previously?
Well, highly maneuverable dogfight craft.
Gotcha.
We can talk about that some more if you want to.
Sure. Yeah.
But I just wanted to say hello.
Makes sense since we're going to be clearly close together.
And then that conversation is cut off by the sound of like a sharp whistle. And then you guys have to line up, and Judge slides in on her hover chair and informs you guys that it's time for some PT. Hopefully you've got all your stuff settled, and then everybody is let out and you get to go into a large training room where she'll run you through a bunch of drills, which as the instructor and also as person in a hover chair, she just hovers around and keeps you guys active for the next hour, and I think that'll be the point where probably good to have us break for our mid game. So I'll pause here. Okay, and we are back. So you guys cut with PT, progress through like a montage of your daily routine. The daily routine for you guys is wake up for PT 6 sharp, put through a rigorous regimen of cardio and weight training. Daily briefing after PT, you report to the briefing room for 15-20-minute discussion of the day's mission, and then the daily hop. So all of you have gone through flight training, but not none, at least half of you have said that you have not flown an X-Wing. So the first hop, I think, is more of like, I'd like to, before we put you through an official like Paragon system hop, I'd just like a quick bit of story time as you describe to me how it is that, like, give me a couple moments as you head out on your first flight in an X-Wing. I'd like to start off with Hound. So tell me a little bit about Hound, either getting into the X-Wing, flying the X-Wing. What do we see? Tells us a bit about Hound's experience.
So I think what we see is Hound hops in and is very mechanical at first. You can see it's very by the book, very by the numbers. And then we hear the commander come over the table, over the radio, and this would be probably Judge saying, loosen up. This isn't a picker you're using. This is, you have to actually be a part of this ship. And you see the ship starts to swoop a little bit more and take a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more steep curves, just to get a feel for what everything looks like. And I think it's zipping around the Crucible station itself and then back and forth between one of the targets and back to the station.
Cool. I like that. So then let's jump over to Buttercup. What do we see with Buttercup in her first experience in this X-Wing craft?
Buttercup settles into an X-Wing and shows she's an experienced pilot, because as her left hand just automatically flicks a dozen controls while she's getting comfortable in the seat. Put toe tube on this, flight avionics on, this sort of thing, X circuits test, etc., like that. So she just hits a ton of toggles with one hand unconsciously while she's settling in her seat and getting the pedals ready and kind of racking it to her liking. She takes it out, and her first comment, which is over an open comm if everybody's training together, is, God, these things corner like a truck. As she puts one into the tightest turn it can make. And it's like, okay, this can't be good enough. And then so she makes one pass around the target, just pulling up on the control lever hard. And it's like, okay, that's not good enough. So the second time she makes a pass, she zips back past the target, cuts the burner, flips the X-Wing 180 and hits the burner hard to get a tighter turn out of it by not the most orthodox maneuver you could ever see.
Nice.
Clearly she's used to a different craft. And he says, okay, that's more like it. These things have a lot of pickup. I like that.
Cool. What about Rakghoul and his experience in the X-Wing in this first training hop?
So I imagine that this is like the TIE Fighter or X-Wing video games, where there's like this track that they have built out in space, and like all of the bumpers are on, as it were, for bowling. And so Rakghoul, maybe it is his first time, but it's just like the T-16 Skyhoppers. And except this time, Rakul is super excited because he has an astromech. And so he is pulling off all of these maneuvers, but if someone was paying more attention, it's more that he's programming the droid live as he's doing these training maneuvers to, he's like timing it, and he's like, oh, that's just an equation like this. And the pilot, he's piloting, but his astromech is doing a lot of the fine-tuning calculations.
That's great. What a wild approach. You have to name your astromech droid now.
I've already found a picture. I'm going to.
Oh, perfect. You're the best. Love it. Love it. Fantastic. Stick them in the NPCs tab, because that's a great thing. And what about Star Dancer?
I want to say she probably does like the worst of everyone, because like I said, she's mostly used to freighters. So like this is much faster, much more maneuverable. Like whereas Buttercup's like, oh god, this turning is terrible. Where this is like, oh, slam or whatever the cuss is. And she's like arguing probably with the astromech or like, what are you talking about? Because like I'm like, these controls wildly different. I don't what.
And see through the little, galactic basic display translating as the astromech is communicating with you. Remember your training. Remember your training. This is a better ship than you're used to.
I don't know about that. I had a bed in my previous ship.
Starfighters aren't for sleeping. The astromech says with exclamation points.
What do you know about sleeping?
I understand a rest cycle.
I managed to shoot the targets? I don't know. Are there targets there?
Yeah, you guys would you're going to head out, and on this first hop, you have to take out a few TIE fighters, but none of your weapons are armed. It's all electronic. It's almost like laser.
So like the
tag
thing is
thing.
like, because like she's not, it's like going all over. So like it looks, is the joke of Star Dancer basically is really living up to that.
Nice. I like it. Cool. You guys come back into Crucible Station at the end of this first training hop. You get feedback from your two primary instructors, and Judge she's critical but fair. Blank, he gets in your face, Star Dancer. Like, he says, this isn't a hollow. You need to stop pretending. What are you doing? I saw some of that back and forth with your astromech. He is just going at you, Star Dancer. How do you handle Blank's very well constructed but harsh teardown of how you were the worst pilot out there?
Leela will give Buttercup will give Star Dancer a wink, just a wink,
okay.
as she's
right.
as she's getting grilled.
She's just gonna stand there and like, look, I've dealt with problematic, perfectionists before. Just stand there. It's the first day. Let them get this off their chest. As I'm like, all right, okay, well, it's first time in our next wing. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, so yeah, you just take it, and
I'm not gonna argue back with them.
Good call. So he says, all right, you better do better tomorrow, or you're gonna wash out. And then he'll walk off, and Judge will approach you and say, hey, Rakul, some interesting things you were doing with the astromech there. Where did you learn how to program an astromech on the fly while piloting?
Well, I mean, piloting subroutines of the astromech are just like any subroutines you would run on any other astromech. And Rakul probably goes down this hole about a subroutines, and Rakul is a I don't know, previously was recruited from the I imagine that there's some core of rebel droid techs, right? And so that's where Rakghoul like started in the rebellion and now in the alliance. He was a very young but talented droid tech, and he's always dreamed of flying. So
The judge seems impressed by your interest level and your skill set, and she nods a little bit, asks a few pointed questions, points out, well, what happens if you dump off all of these subroutines and get used to leaning on the crutch of your astromech, and then it's exposed to space. A blaster bolt could take it out. What are you planning on doing then, Rakghoul?
I guess I hadn't thought about that.
Okay. Think about it. Okay? And that she leaves you with that. Now, Hound, during this conversation, as Rakghoul's rattling off all this droid stuff, you notice that one of the mechanics, her name's Zerelda Sage, she's human, she's paying attention. She keeps making like these really unpleasant faces about Rakghoul's high-mindedness about droids, and she's obviously not buying Rakghoul's trust in these astromechs. She doesn't say anything, of course. She just works in the hangar, but you definitely get an impression that Zerelda Sage does not think Rakghoul's on the right track here.
So while Rakghoul and the commander are in conversation and they have each other's attention, I'm going to see if I can get Sage's attention. Is it possible to catch her eyes?
Yeah.
And I think it's, at that point he breaks attention a little bit and like scowls at her, like, and then kind of goes back just to say, I made you.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, you just tell her to like pipe down kind of deal.
Yeah.
She looks caught, but she lets it go, just kind of goes off, grabs a data pad, like, I've got work to do. I'm not gonna deal with this anymore. Cool. So yeah, that sounds good. You guys got your first trial with your X-Wings. Fun. Looking at time, I'd like to now kind of push us forward towards a hop. So my goal is that in the remaining hour, 10 or so minutes for play, we go through a hop and then cycle through R&R. We'll see how it goes. So we do a quick star wipe. It's kind of obvious that maybe there was more stuff that happened that ended up on the cutting room floor for time. And we see the first launch of Furies Squadron on an official hop, not just like a quick training thing, but you've got an actual objective. And as you guys are all flying, we have two. So the squadron itself, Fury Squadron, 12 ships. And this will be the point where I need to walk you guys through a bit of work you need to do. It's very quick. But you need to choose your flight and combat system setups. There are drop downs. This is all on row 16 underneath charges. So you just choose any of the 4 flight systems and any of the 4 combat systems.
Do we know what the objective is?
Yes, your objective is the mission is called Black Skies, and your objective will be to help with the evacuation of some citizens off of a planet that is under siege. And in case you're nervous about the flight and combat system, again, while it connotes some specialities, you still have the ability. It's just basically you've tweaked your X-Wing towards that with the help of Sumatra Bagri or Sage.
Buttercup's looking over the configurations of everybody else's X-Wing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, do not check any of your maneuvers or charges. Those will be used in your hop. Oh, hold on. Clear any remaining at the end of it. Mark 4 charges at the start of each mission. Spin to add D4 to. Hold on. What does that mean? I'm going to make sure I've got this.
I think we check them beforehand and then we uncheck them. Use them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you may mark 4 charges at the start of each mission within your flight system, combat system, and maneuvers. Any of those 4 you wish. And hold on just 1 minute.
What do some of them mean?
They mean what you want them to mean in the moment.
Oh, okay.
I asked that same question when I got a little demo
I
from.
was like, what's Firestorm mean?
I don't know, but you're going to tell us when you.
Do I become the nuclear man?
No,
Maybe.
it probably means you know, holding the fire button down while you do something. But you can decide what it means.
Cool. You are informed by Blank and Judge that this will be your first mission against the instructor pilots. So Vanguard Squadron will be your enemies for the purpose of this. So we will jump into this. Hopefully everybody remembers in the chat is the roller room. Do you want to jump in there? Because we'll be rolling dice. Here we go. Hops in the Squadron is the tab that we'll start off with. And I know you'll unfortunately have to bounce between Hops in the Squadron and pilots. Primarily, you probably want to be in pilots. I'll be tracking stuff on Hops in the Squadron. There's some cool visualization there for Clash, Seize, Defend, and Finale. And then the challenge types. So there are 4 challenge types: dire, perilous, daunting, and arduous. I define what that challenge type coming at you is. If you fail to meet a challenge, that's how you will suffer, right? So if I say that this was a dire contest, then you failed to meet or beat the target number and it was dire, you'd have to mark burn. So here's the next thing that I tell you. Now we're getting pretty mechanical and I apologize, but once we do a roll through it, I think things will work out like they'll make sense. You build a role using your call sign and whatever domain is appropriate. Then you have burn, and you can spend burn to activate charges. You can also use your flight system and combat systems for charges. Those things will give you an extra D4 that you add to your 2 best dice. We don't currently start with any bonds, but that will happen in R&R. Bonds are a great way to save somebody else's bacon and help out. You can also spend a burn to bring in a second domain, which means you're just getting an extra die. So you guys were told that you're heading out to try to rescue some citizens from a planet that is under siege. And you guys enter the pre-program. Well, you don't have to enter. You basically hop into Lightspeed, and you guys are heading out into a kind of a blind hop, and you jump into Lightspeed, all the ship, all 12 from Furies Squadron, and then when you guys come out, who among the 4 of you do you think is the most is very well traveled? Just like raise your hand if you think your character has been around most of the galaxy. Okay, so Star Dancer, you generally recognize that you're somewhere in the mid-rim, and this is not the wild outer rim craziness. You can see that there are some satellites, that this is all a mock-up as you guys come in. So the first thing that we hit, if you jump into Hops in the Squadron, getting to battle space. So based on time, I'm not going to hit you guys with a getting to the battle space threat, but that's something you will hit in future hops, which is just getting there. There will be a threat that you have to deal with. Kind of forces you to stretch your resources, and also it's a pretty fun way to describe how your character arrives on the scene. So now we move into the clash. So things work in 3 phases: clash, threat, and then finale. So we start off in the clash. So within the clash is, I jump over to my cheat notes. Give me just a moment here. Aha, here we go. So you guys coming in towards this planet, you're picking up signals from a number of frantic citizens who are trying to move to escape shuttles and freighters to get off the planet. But you also see that there is a squadron of attack craft. They are mocked up on your radar to show as TIE fighters, but in actuality, these are A-wing fighters, which are relatively same speed, but do have some shields. And these TIE fighters are attacking the freighters and other shuttles that are trying to get off of the planet. They're also, within that squadron, they split off. There's some that are attacking, and half of that squadron has turned and is coming straight at you guys. So those are the 2 primary things within the first clash that you want to do. So I now set our target number. This is going to be start off with a level 4, and I will be rolling a d6 to add to that to get our overall. So 7 is the number. Now I jump over to my GM's Glory Tracker, and I put the Hop 1 GM result at a 7. So your target number for this first clash is a 7. So each pilot will describe how you use your skills and abilities to, you can either, here are your options, communicate with the civs to give them the heads up, right? If you want to deal with the civs and hey, get on the shuttles, direct any of that communication so that they are more coordinated because they're pretty frantic. You can head in and attack the craft that are being sent your way, or you can try to pick off the attack craft that are trying to take out the escapees. Those options make sense? All right. So you choose the domain and tell me how you're joining the battle. We'll start with the highest rank, Buttercup. You get to make the first declaration, and you can kind of tell people what they should be doing as well.
All right. Rackle, deploy countermeasures. Let's see if we can scramble their systems a little bit. Hound, you're in on the attack craft. Directly, Start Answer and me will take care of these attackers here and keep them off your back. Tell me different if you've got a different view.
Okay, good. So then I think Rakul sounds like your action of trying to deal with the comms. What do you want to do? And then let's walk through building your die pool for that.
Sure. So Rakul, talks to R52T, and she is kind of a little scrambled because of all that reprogramming. But Rakul starts to very quickly deploy something, and he's trying to make it look like to these other groups that there's a whole second force jumping in like directly across, right? So if the freighters and all are in the middle, he's creating an artificial force and jump signatures coming in on the other side, just to sort of scramble them and make them think that they're somewhere else.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're doing some subterfuge here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're going to be using your die from operations, which is a D6, and then your rack ghoul, you're doing the thing, so you also roll a D6. So right now you're going to roll 2D6, and your target number is just a 7.
Okay.
Other options that you have.
I can use burn, right? To
you
pull
can use
something
burn.
in.
Yes, you can use burn to pull something in. You can pull in another domain, or you could activate any of your charges. And the domain would just give you another die. A charge would give you a D4 that you'd add to your total at the end.
Gotcha. I will take a burn to also bring in systems.
Okay.
And that would be,
a D8.
using R5-2T.
Okay,
so that's 2D6s and a D8, correct?
Yes, and you're going to keep the best 2 of those.
Ciao. Okay, so 2D6.
Looks like you got a 12. A 7
But
from the D8
show...
and a 5 from the DX. The last roll.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I see.
Says,
I see
okay.
You rolled 2D6, 1D8. You got a 5, a 4, and a 7.
Okay. Gotcha.
So your
yes.
7 and your 5 would be your 2 highest. So you're rocking a 12, which is more than successful. So tell us what this looks like as you defeat their countermeasures to fool things and show up like you guys are 2 squadrons.
Yeah, so I think the R5-2T kind of squeals and rotates her head really fast, and then on the on the enemy ships, right? And it's a Talon squadron. What's the enemy squadron?
Vanguard
Squadron. So the ships there are screaming towards us and are still coming. But the Vanguard Squadron was like, this isn't part of the briefing. And they break off from the attacking the freighters, and they start going towards where these other jump signatures are.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Rakul is like, and then like suddenly has to pull off a really high G maneuver because those attack craft are actually like coming in still. And he suddenly realizes that he's been spending the whole time talking to R5. And oh, right, combat.
Nice. So what does it look like for Star Dancer? What you've been asked to handle, to work alongside Buttercup, I believe, with the Vanguard Squadron attacking you guys? So what do you want to do?
I'm mostly following Buttercup's lead, but like I'm trying to, I guess, like also because I'm piloting a Fox, so like I'm trying to like spook their systems to play off like that, like it's a stealth craft, so I'm trying to like, like dart in and out the quick attacks as I like spook their radar and whatnot.
Okay. Then which domain do you feel like you're leaning towards?
Operations.
Okay. That's what I thought. Cool. So you're rolling a D6 for your call sign because you're doing the thing and using operations. So you're rolling a D8. Do you wish to spend any burn to give yourself extra dice, either an extra domain or using one of your charges?
Hold up. Let's go through it like one at a time. So first die is the call sign, right?
Yes. In your call sign.
The next one roll?
No. Your roll is...
Because it has a D6 next to it. That's why I'm asking.
Does have a D6. Do you feel like you are bringing your roll into this action?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not really infiltrating anything, I don't think.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't apply, but that is a good question. So Thank you for asking for that
no problem.
clarification.
So D6 and D8 from operations, because we
Mhm.
moved down to domains. And then I could spend a thing to add another D4. Is that
You can spend a burn to use any of your charges to give you an extra D4. Yes.
okay?
Or spend a burn to roll an extra domain, but you still keep the same number of dice.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think I'll spend a burn to add an extra domain
Okay.
of tactical.
That sounds great.
So rolling 2d6 and 1d8, right?
Yes, you're rolling 2d6 and 1d8.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Roll.
Look at that.
Wow. So you have an 8 and a 6 as your two highest, so 14.
I do?
You do.
Oh, I'm looking at the recent rolls. I'm like, what?
Yeah, don't look at the recent rolls. That'll throw you off. You want to look at the last roll and you actually see it's by your name. So you got Janella Vixen there.
Yeah, it's the big thing at the top.
Yep. Yeah, the one that we'll all miss because it's the biggest one. Sounds good.
Yes.
Good. So then.
So that's
what
14,
is that?
Right?
What does that look like?
Oh yeah, like I get to describe it. So like, yeah, they're like, wait, where are because the sensors are popping up like over there. So like they're like moving to like target that as I'm like shooting them from behind and like zipping around,
Nice.
doing far too fancy maneuvers than I should be.
Good. I like it. Awesome. So then let's go to Hound. You were asked to deal with the attack craft that was trying to take out the escaping civilians. And Rakkul's messed up a few things with their comms, but there's still some who are doing attack runs on the ground.
Right. So I think I'm going to let's see. So I get a D6 for being Hound for my call sign.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to power through. So basically, I'm going to hit my afterburners to punch through these attacking craft.
Mm-hmm.
To get to the vehicles that need protecting.
Okay.
So I'm going to kick in my afterburners. I think that's probably tactical.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're bringing in your roll of tactical. That roll is a D6, so you're currently at 2D6. And then which domain do you feel like you're working under?
I think that's the domain is tactical.
Oh, sorry. You've chosen the role of tactical, it looked like.
No. I have the role of commando.
I am looking at Vico. I apologize.
That's fine.
The role of commando.
Yep.
Okay, so tactical. Sorry about that. And I did not realize we had a role and a domain that have both the same name.
I'm going to think about a rename for tactical while we're at this.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for sure. We'll do that between sessions. So you're using the domain of tactical and Hound. You've got 2d6.
And then I'm going to spend a burn to bring in my charge of power.
Okay.
To represent my afterburners. So
okay,
so 2d6 plus 1d4, right?
Yes, and you get to add all of those together, and then we're going to uncheck the power because you only get to use that charge once per hop.
Okay.
Did
that roll once or did that roll twice?
We will take the latest roll, and it looks like it rolled twice, but we'll take the latest one. So you have a 6, a 5, and a 1. The D4 as a charge gets to be added on top, so that is a 12. So as you come in pushing through, what does that look like? You're successful.
Yeah, so basically what it looks like is I think that we see the other ships kind of peel off and head in their own direction. We see a little bit shaky Vico as the other assault ships are on top of him. And then we see Hound, we hear the orders over the comm, and then Hound basically punches a button on his throttle and punches you see the afterburners kick in. He kind of goes back, and all of a sudden he's right in the face of those ships that were attacking the ones we're supposed to protect.
Okay. Nice. That looks fantastic. And then last, certainly not least, is Buttercup. You were working alongside Stardancer for the attack craft that were coming to meet you guys. So what does that look like? What do you want? What's your approach?
So yeah, coordinating. So as I see Stardancer go up, I go down and try to grab their attention essentially. And when they let fly, I do a twist and then get right into a furball with them, just down and up into the center. Up into the center, all of them, and let them risk shooting each other as they're trying to get at me.
Okay. So which domain do you feel like that falls?
I'm Buttercup. I'm doing my role as interceptor.
Yep, absolutely.
And this is tactics.
Okay.
For sure. So it's 2d6 and a d8.
All right, sounds good.
And that's an 11.
Yeah, your 5 and your 6 is more than success. All of you have been successful in the clash, which is our first go, and you are definitely set up for success here. Congratulations. Cool. So at the end of the clash, the winner of the clash contest, the GM or best pilot. So let's go back and figure out who had the highest total. So Janella, actually, we can click on the roll history.
I wrote them in the chat.
You did?
I was reading
awesome.
ahead. I'm like, oh, we should mark this down before the thing disappears.
Sweet. So Janella with a 14, you get an extra D10 advantage die for any single roll in the battle. You can give it to another hero player in exchange for a bond. Like they would.
Can that
give
be like
bond.
done in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've now entered threat phase. This is the second of the 3. And then threat will have 2 options, either seize or defend. So I lash out with all of my stuff, describing potential disasters that could happen. So Hound, you've engaged the attackers who are trying to take out the citizens that are scrambling to freighters. You see as the attack TIE fighters, the TIE bomber comes out and they start to lay bombs down to try to actually take out the ships before they're able to take off. You all see that a number of the attacking TIE fighters peel off from attacking the ground and start chasing after the escape craft, the freighters and shuttles, with the intent of blasting them out of the sky. And also the remainder of Vanguard Squadron TIE fighters are coming after Stardancer and Buttercup to set up their egress so they can get out once they have completed their mission. So those are the potential disasters that could happen, is that the bombing for the last of the civilians before they're able to get on board crafts, the not even a dogfight, but just the attempt to pick off shuttles and freighters as they attempt to escape before they can get to light speed. And then, of course, the disaster of there are more of them than there are of Buttercup, Stardancer, and by the way, there are like 8 other starfighters who are alongside you guys helping out, playing wingman, that kind of stuff, just so we have the full experience and thought process behind that. So all of that is going on. In this phase, each pilot chooses either to defend against a disaster or seize control of the battle. If no one defends against the 3 disasters that we have, then that disaster comes true. And so you
And
seize
if,
or
I
defend.
believe if nobody seizes, we also are at a disadvantage for the finale. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, Buttercup, do you want to let everybody sort after their own, or do you want to make sure that there is a focus on the 3 areas, which is the
I'm gonna say-
overwhelm? Sorry.
I'm going to say first, call your target to the squadron.
Rakul calls back, taking on the bombers.
Hound says defending the freighters.
Where do you need me? I don't.
Keep these take as many of these fighters out as you can before they get out. And so seizing command
Mhm.
basically just means getting overview of the whole operation.
Season
Or
command.
what is it
The
mean?
winner of the seas contest
The winner of the
chooses
seas
the domain
contest.
and stakes of the finale
Yep, exactly.
and the ultimate
So-
fate of the opponent.
Right.
So I'm basically lighting up targets for people on this one.
Cool.
I'm zeroing enemies and going priority 1, priority 2, priority 3 for everybody, for other people, in case they're, just to make sure that they're on their dashes.
Okay.
I don't know cinematically what trying to seize the initiative means in a situation like this. Can you help me?
Seizing the initiative. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, I can tell the other 3 are defending against a particular threat, so
Mhm.
they're engaging with one of the threats.
What does seize the contest look like?
The winner of the seas contest. So you either defend against the
Mhm.
okay, I see what you're saying. And I got to figure out how best to describe this. And if anybody more experienced with Agon can do a better descriptive, that's cool. So the winner of the seas contest means you set the table for the finale. And the stakes as well. So by winning the seas contest, you're trying to take over the theater so that instead of, we're trying to protect the citizens, in the finale, it's do they get away or not, right? You can set what the final stakes of the last contest is. Does that help?
I think so. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Buttercup, so my meta response is also like sort of semi-in character. I'm like, meta wise, let's not try to seize unless like all of the defenses are successful. Because like our mission is to protect these people more importantly than to seize control or like guide the Imperials. So like their lives are more important than ours.
That's right. Okay. I'm going to go after the bombers with Rakul.
Okay.
So like Rich, now this is a meta mechanic question. Do you have to commit to a defense or a seize before other people roll? Oh, okay. That's why I was confused, because like it sounds like because people still roll one at a time. So
You do roll one at a time.
Okay.
But you're committing first. Am I reading this right, Rich?
Yes, I think so.
Mechanic. Okay, so in this case, the stakes are not. I mean, I agree that the stakes are likely not to shift.
So like,
much.
if 3 people like succeed, does one person just not do anything?
Well, the hope is that there are enough threats after everybody to kind of split up and do stuff. And if you're like, oh, I got to defend, I got this defend, and there are only two things, and the other people can try to seize, which means I'm going to pick off or try to push back and take over the combat theater as it exists.
Okay.
So let's cycle through.
I'm gonna do a seize because I think we need to. I want to limit the.
Yeah, I didn't know that we
Okay.
all had to
And what I'm
declare at
gonna
the
do.
same time.
So I know what I'm gonna do cinematically, and I'll just declare that.
Okay, so Buttercup is a seize. You are asking Rakul to defend, or Rakul, you said you're going to defend, and
The rest of us are
Hound
defense. Yeah.
or defend. Okay, all right, good. So let's start off with the defense. Let's start with Hound. And also, I will be rolling dice. So, Hound, you are dealing with the escapees. Sorry, the freighters, right?
Refugees. That's right.
Refugees,
And
yes.
I'm on the radio with them, telling them which direction to go, so that I can put myself between them and the incoming Imperials, and keep the Imperials off the back of the freighters.
Okay. Now, you are dealing with several ships of Vanguard Squadron. They are a D8.
Okay.
They are dangerous, which is also a D8. They are experienced, which is a D6. And for this, they are being vicious. Your threat is perilous. So I am rolling 2D8 and 2D6.
Now, a question about the advantage die. Can it be given to others
Yeah.
after they roll? Like, the match.
Yeah, no, I get what
team
you're saying. I
mechanic?
get what you're saying. Let's say yes, and then
Okay.
I'll research later if that's a true statement or not. So perilous attack. Here we go. Oh, that is a crap roll.
No,
It is
fine.
10.
It's fine.
You need to meet or beat a 10, Hound.
And what does perilous mean?
So, great question. If you take a look again on Hops in the Squadron, if you suffer, which means you fail to meet or beat 10, you'll have to mark burn as a result. That's the punishment.
Yeah.
So that's the context for the failure.
So I am. I have my call sign, so that's a D6, and I think I'm using command to tell them where to go.
Okay.
That's a D8,
Yeah. Nice.
and is there anything else I can? I'll spend a burn to add in tactical.
Okay.
Basically knowing where to place myself in that. So I will roll 2d6 and 1d8.
Okay. 2d6 and 1d8, and you'll be adding two of those together.
So I got a 13 adding two of those together.
Dang it. All right. You got an 8 on a d8. That's fantastic. Sweet. So you are able to defend against that cataclysm of them taking out the freighters. And
I think what this looks like is they swoop in, and I basically come in very close to them because I'm traveling at a very high speed from that afterburner, and I kind of block their view. And with that, and with the coordination with the freighters are able to take a different tangent, and then they come in, and as they swoop around me to hit the freighters aren't where they thought they were going to be.
Nice. I like it. Cool. Let's go to Rakul as you are defending the ground and against the bombers. And now I will roll, and you get to roll. So these craft are using bombs of a D8, as well as seeking missiles of a D6. They are fast craft of a D8, and they are nimble. So it's 2D8, 2D6 is the challenge here. And this is a This is dire.
Okay, and let me just double check. So dire is mark burn to contest. So I to even contest this, I have to mark burn.
Yes, it is
Excellent.
dire. By
I'm
the way,
using a lot of burn on this.
the burn where it says out doesn't mean you're out of the thing. It just means you reach the burnout phase, and anything more than that burn, number one, can get you like experience benefits, but also pushes you towards the point where your character is completely out of it. So it's dangerous. I'm going to go ahead and roll my dice. Oh, another crap roll of an 8.
8. Okay. So
Hold on.
I think yeah.
So I'm going to say a thing and check in with people.
Sure.
So I originally had that roll a d6 and added 4. I'm supposed to have added the 4 to that last roll and this roll.
I'm not worried about it. Add 4 to this roll. Let's keep rolling.
Okay.
So that's 12.
12. Yes, you need to beat a 12.
Excellent. So Rakul, and I'm gonna pull in I think this is just straight tactical.
That makes sense.
This is firefighting. But I think Fuzz, the Wookiee, and I think we do like the eye thing, and just like across, there's that scene where they like come up on the side and we're just like, got it. And I'm gonna burn. So I have to use a burn to use any of the charges, right?
Yes.
Correct. Cool. Okay. So I'm gonna burn 2. I'm gonna burn hard boost and my shields. So I mean, this is a training simulation, right? So these are training bombs. But so we're gonna dive, like we hard slam, and we're gonna try and get underneath the bombers and use our shields to bounce the bombs back up into the bombers.
That's crazy. I love it.
All right. So that is 2d6 and then 2d4.
Okay.
Okay. But the 4s are always
The 4s add, yeah.
add.
You're going to add all 4 of these together.
Excellent.
But your target is a 12.
12. Got it. Which handily is actually what your dice rolled out to. Oh, that's a 13. Just barely, but we make it.
Squeak. That is fantastic. Yeah, it happens like that, right? Like you guys use the shields and the bombs bounce off of it. That is wild.
And we're flying like super tight formation. And we just like skate underneath each bomber as they start to drop, and it bounces back up. And the Vanguard people are like, dude, ow! And they probably get that little ion like up their consoles.
Nice. I think Frisk, who's the Trandoshan, he is like, oh, nice trick.
So
cool.
If I'm not mistaken, let's roll back just a second.
Yes, I was about to.
Okay, go ahead.
We're on the same page. So I'm going back to the roll history. The perilous attack on freighters escaping. The result was a 10, but I should have added 4. So your target would have been a 14. Now, I feel a little hesitant here because I feel like you might have made different decisions if you knew it was going against a 14. So do we want to let it stand?
I think we're all learning. I think we're all learning. It's no problem.
Okay. So then Hound's result was a 12, right? Because you had a 6-5 and a 1. So your result of 12 would have been a suffer. And in the
result was a 13.
His result was a
13?
8.
You're right.
5.
I was going to the previous one. Thank you. Still, though, it is less than 14.
Yeah.
This was a perilous attack. Therefore, you mark burn if you
Which I just
suffer.
did.
Okay.
I did.
Cool. So you took care of that.
Narratively, does that mean that the ships were able to attack the escaping things?
Yes. Narratively, it means that several of the freighters are killed in this training action.
Perfect. And I think, just like I narrated, the ships popped around me, and the transports weren't where they thought they were, but I didn't see the other 2 ships coming from the other side. I blocked the view from one side, but not the other.
Cool.
If you don't mind me asking, what adds the +4?
Basically, at the start of a thing, it's almost like a difficulty rating.
Okay.
So remember when I rolled a d6 and then I added 4 and it was 7? That 4 is supposed to be added to all my rolls.
Okay.
I just forgot it.
I was like reading through the rules. I'm like, where is this? I'm confused.
There's a sort of nastiness in each mission which gets added into all the rolls.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. So let's deal with Stardancer. Stardancer, you were engaging. You were trying to defend against the counterattack from the Vanguard Squadron. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
It's kind of a long. This is a lot. It's a lot.
So much,
sweet.
there's a lot of numbers.
There's a lot, and I apologize for that. Sweet. So these guys are Vanguard Squadron,
Okay.
dangerous, experienced, and vicious. And this is also a daunting attack.
Okay. You jerks.
Which means you are spending charge to contest.
Okay.
Which you have to mark a burn to spend a charge.
Do you?
So.
Because it doesn't say that anywhere.
I know. I only know that because of the demo that I went through. I was spending burn every time I used a charge. If it turns out that I'm wrong, I apologize. I will try to reread Agon itself rather than the hack of Agon later to make sure that I'm close to right. Sweet. So I'm going to build my die pool real quick.
It's weird, narratively, language-wise, that arduous is worse than dire. Then,
like synonym wise, you mean?
The words are not.
The meaning of arduous is less difficult than dire. Like, because arduous means you have to spend a burn and spend a charge if you suffer. I guess daunting is like the worst.
It's a little weird. I agree. Arduous, spend charge if you
daunting is the worst, which is a funny word. Yeah.
Spending charge to contest. Yep. Okay. Here we go. 2d6 and 2d8 coming your way.
Yep.
That is a 5 and a 7, which is an 11 plus 4. Your
15.
target number is a 15. Don't forget, you've got that
12.
advantage die, which you haven't.
That's true. You know,
5 and a 7 is a 12. 16. I know math.
So I guess I'll spend the corkscrew charge to do a thing, and a burn to do a thing.
All right, and don't forget your D10 from winning advantage.
Sure. If I use it, I don't know. We'll see. Because if we allowed me to roll it after the roll, that changes things.
You can do it after the roll.
So call sign is 1d6.
Yes.
Right. So I'm gonna say that like while they're doing this, like I'm gonna do a Star Trek 6 where like I'm messing with sensors and then like riding my ship right underneath another one. So I'm infiltrating their attack pattern as they're also shooting towards me and Buttercup. So then like, oh, they've lost visual of me, and like the radar's already wonky. So like, who knows what's going on? So like, all right, well, they're just going to target Buttercup. So that's why I'm going to add my roll as I infiltrate them for another d6. Then operations, because I'm trying to be stealthy and subterfuge as I'm like flying along, just like mimicking their movements. That's going to be a d8. I will. So we got like 10 burn or 5 burn max. I'll spend a burn to add a tactical of d6.
Okay.
And I'll spend another burn to add a charge of. So like what I'm doing is like I'm going to say this is threading the needle as like they're moving, then like I'm suddenly like zipping out to like shoot at them as they're bearing down on Buttercup, and then like it's just like looping back and spinning around to doing crazy maneuvers as I like pop in and out and underneath them, then like doing the spins to shoot when like they seem they might have their bearings on me. So to add a d4 after the roll,
Okay.
because that's
Yeah.
how charges work, right?
Yeah, charges.
You
all-
add plus 1d4 to the roll.
Right. Exactly.
So I should have 3d6 and 1d8, right?
And D4.
Yeah. Plus 1d4.
Yeah.
So the other domain I would be adding would, I think, tactical, right? Yeah, because we're in a firefight. It makes sense.
Yep. Makes sense. 3d6, 1d8, 1d4.
So yeah, I guess I could just add the d4 to the roll, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Might as well.
One. So let's see. I got a 7 and a 6 plus 2.
Okay, it was 12 plus 4, 16. 7 to 6, 13. 14, 15. So,
All right, I'm going to
Wait,
use
so-
that d10.
because I was about to say, you suffer.
So you need an 8. You need a 10. Or 7.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You need a 7.
If you get a 7,
Oh,
on the D10,
right.
it'll replace
Not an
the
added
D6.
thing.
Yeah, it's not.
7. Do I do it? Nah, I'll suffer.
Awesome. So,
Because like they're not shooting people; they're aiming at us in Buttercup, right?
exactly.
So
You're
technically,
not
we
giving
both
up on
suffer,
defending
right?
people. You
Yeah.
will suffer. So, two things happen. First of all, I need you to roll a D12.
All right. 12.
Awesome. Shark takes a hit. The vulture in the back. And also, Stephen, you need to roll a D12 because whenever you suffer, you're supposed to roll a D12, and that's what member of the squadron takes a hit. 3. Oh, Lucky. Man, Lucky's not lucky. She was the first one to take an actual hit on the 2 boxes. On the second box happens, you're like out. You don't eject, but you're effectively dead in the training thing. If you were actually out there, then you would be in space. Sweet. So yeah, then I think what happens is Shark, it takes a number of hits in this attempt when you try to defend, and they are screaming at you, "Start answer! What are you doing?" Sweet. So then we go to the C's for Buttercup. Let's build that roll as you're attempting to try to seize. And where do you think?
And you can have a D10, so
Yeah, you
Right.
do.
use it or lose it, right?
I'm going to use it.
So,
Go ahead.
well, it says I add a bond for that. Where do I mark that down? Just
Great question. The bonds in Pilot's area is under row 25.
yep. Do I just put like a 1 next to Buttercup?
Yep.
What do bonds do? Oh, I should.
They're cool, and there's a hover over underneath bonds.
Oh, we start
you
with 2 with
show
each
2.
pilot.
Crap.
God damn it!
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm the worst.
I would have changed all our roles, I think.
So much. So
Well,
much.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So now Buttercup has 3. I'm sorry.
Describe how they
See,
help you.
I
by
did the
lending you a
demo by
domain
myself,
die.
so I didn't have any bonds with anyone. That's my only defense. I'm terrible. Let's go.
I mean,
Training hop for everyone.
My thing is I could just unmark a burn because that's how I got
Sure.
like an extra domain die.
Sounds good. Let's have you embark a burn. If that's what you want to do with it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, why don't you do that? No, you're right. I was because I was calling tactical, so I could have easily let you my tactical.
Cool. So let's build your roll, Buttercup.
What am I rolling against? Do I get to know?
Yeah. Well, you're trying to take these guys down. You're trying to seize them, right?
Yes.
So then you'll be rolling against the Vanguard Squadron. So 2d8, 2d6, plus 4.
Okay.
And it is, since I need to set up our thing, it is an arduous contest against them because they are skilled at dogfighting and more comfortable with their X-Wings than you.
Yes. Which they are, what are they are actually flying rather than TIE fighters.
Right.
And so Arduous is spend a charge if I lose. And what did they get?
It did not roll
9?
that great.
They got a 9.
A
3,
9.
2, 5,
I'm
and
so
9.
scared of Vanguard Squadron now.
Dang it, Vanguard. Do better.
All right.
Get good, Vanguard.
Yes. The way I am seizing is I am pulling them hard. Basically, I'm making a threat move that forces them to come after me.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do the thing I did when I was taking my X-wing out for a test flight, which is to cut engines, flip 180, and hit the burners hard for
Awesome.
a sudden reversal.
You've lured Jasper and Key both in on this. Like they have bit hard. So
and they got a 9.
Yeah.
Not too high, but
Not too high at all.
Do you want to save some? How much burn do we recover in between missions?
3.
Okay. I'm Buttercup for D6. I'm using it in my craft as an interceptor. Second D6 is as tactical for a D8. And I'm going to mark a second burn.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, or should I save it? Fuck it. Trying to get the most of this out. Okay, so 2d6, a d8, a d10, and 2d4s. And the second burn is a firestorm. As I flip, I let loose with both torpedo tubes, and just hold the trigger down as I rake it across the
that sounds awesome.
the swarm of attacking vanguards. I am presuming that none of them have seen a 180 like this before, because it is.
Well, let's see how well you roll to see if they have.
It's not a thing you do in an X-wing.
It's not a smart call, because who could pull this off? Let's see how you pull it off.
Okay, so that's a D6 and a D6 and a D8, and Janella's D10 and 2 4s. And that is a 50. That's a 20.
Yeah, that's an easy peasy. This D4s of 5 and 50. Yeah, that's amazing. You take, unless you had any other narration, I think Key and Jasper are out. Like both of them in this firestorm get seized, and they are not there for the finale. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I just pile right down the line of them, and light them up.
Okay, now we move to the finale. Now, because you guys were successful. Oh, wow, that's interesting. You were like half successful and half suffered. So,
Buttercup seems to get to choose the domain and stakes, right?
if the pilot succeeds, they choose the domain and stakes. Yes, that's correct. And then the defend is just making sure the disasters didn't happen. All right, thank you. So you get to choose the domain and stakes for the finale here, Buttercup, because of your successful seize.
And the domain being, so I think the stakes here is, I think after that, they're just trying to salvage their craft. So they have broken off the attack and are just trying to get to jump points.
Okay, so the stakes is, do they escape, or do you guys?
Stakes is, do they escape? The domain is going to be primarily tactical.
That sounds good. Sweet. So then we in the finale, they are trying to.
What does choosing the domain mean?
You choose the domain that you roll under. So you may want to choose. The
Don't we
domain
always
you have
choose
the
that
highest
though?
Yeah. So
Not for the
Does it choose
finale.
the domain the
Not-
GM rolls?
not
on?
for the finale. Well,
okay.
I don't have domains,
Okay.
so that's a fair question. It's basically I've been pretty flexible with your domains, but it can be more proscriptive. Like the idea that if you've got a really good at tactical, which is good for engagements and firefights, but I've set up a challenge that isn't about a firefight, then you wouldn't have access to that if it didn't make any sense, kind of deal. I think it makes more sense
Or
than
is it
Agon.
like the finale? Just everybody uses the same domain.
Yes,
Okay.
that is the general thing. Is everybody's set on that same domain because there is a little bit of competition, right? So
Yeah.
the person who
Because
does
like
the
reading through
seas
the
and gets
thing,
to
like
set the domain.
clashes, everyone chooses their own.
Mhm.
Threat is, I guess, everyone chooses their own. I don't know. Gotcha.
I'm just,
So you have chosen which domain?
I've chosen tactical.
Okay, everybody's rolling on tactical.
This is just trying to eat them up.
Sweet. And we are going to say that they're not going to be the worst. So this is still perilous because they do have the blasters and they are pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Eat them alive, crew.
Okay. And I have rolled a 10, 14 is our challenge. So there is their attempt to get away. So who wants to step up and
I'll go
try
first.
to defeat him? All right, go for it.
Yeah, so I think that Hound sees that he was outmaneuvered in the last time, and he is going to do call sign D6 plus tactical D6, and I'm going to spend 2 burn for firestorm and weapons, which are charges and maneuvers. So
Mhm.
that would be 2d6 plus 2d4, and all that gets added together.
Okay.
That's a 16. What did you have?
14.
Oh, okay, good.
Wow, what does that look like? We'll say that you are chasing after Gunny, Lieutenant Commander Kira Gunny Kuva.
Yeah, and I think what this looks like is we see internally in the cockpit, he kind of slams his fist down on the side of the console, and then jams the throttle probably harder than he should, so that he swoops back around, and then he flicks a couple of switches and just unloads. And we actually see, probably sparks and stuff from inside the cockpit where he's overloading the X-Wing as he dumps the weapons out on everything.
Nice. That's awesome. Then why don't we see what Rakghoul does in pursuit? As you've been ordered to try to take down Vanguard Squadron, these terrible TIE fighters.
Yeah, so like we're supposed to engage with them. But really, if we just keep them all here, everyone else can pick them off. So Rakghoul is trying to I guess I have to do I have to engage with them, right? Because it's tactical.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't do my trickery. Dang it.
I mean, if you spend, you can.
I can force the roll.
No, you can add domain die by spending burn.
Right.
Okay.
Or bonds.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
or you can spend bonds to have somebody lend you the domain. Yep.
Okay. Got it. It's a lot of configuring rolls here. Okay, so Rakghoul, tactical, it's 2d6. I am going to spend a burn for bullseye. Because I'm flying, but I think R5, I think she's the one shooting. And she's a better shot than me. So that's 2d6 and a d4. I will. Ooh, if I spend one more, I'd burn out. But I can rely on somebody else to hand me one of their dice, right?
Yes.
I think it's my bunkmate Hound. How does and you just Hound just gives me also their tactical die? Is that how that works, or is it any of their dice?
If you use a bond, you can use it. Sorry, there's the hover
No, it's
over.
okay.
I want to make sure I read it right. They can either lend you a domain die, one of their domain dice,
Okay.
or they can stop any harm coming your way at no cost to them.
I want your domain die.
Right. So I think it's Hound comes tearing in and says, "Newbie, cover that flank."
Nice. Yeah, so I'm just not exactly sure even where to point, right? I like that. So is that your command die then?
Probably.
Okay. So 2, 6, a D8, and a D4.
Okay.
And I'm probably gonna fail. The math is not for me here.
Oof, on that roll.
6, that's a 10. And I have to beat
You
a
will
14.
suffer.
I will suffer, which is a
Yeah.
burn, correct?
Yes, you suffer a burn.
Oof. And we roll a D12.
Yes, you do. Roll a d12, Rakghoul.
Oh, but not all those other dice. Okay, there we go. That's a 3. I don't think.
Oh, I know who that is. Somebody had a 3 rolled on them
It's
before.
Lucky.
Lucky. Oh no,
Lucky.
Lucky.
Oh man, she's
Lucky
out.
is okay. Can we posit that Lucky was given as an ironic name?
I think so. Honestly, it is an ironic name. This is a person who just recently was freed from an imperial prison, so she's had a hard life. And somebody called her sister called her Lucky as a joke. So yeah, it makes sense that Doorstar is the one. I can't get pull out.
Okay, so I love that result happens because I'm flying this. I'm out of my element. I'm letting the droid shoot. And a Hound is like, cover that flank. So I spin the craft really hard, and I think I'm doing great, right? But I think I friendly fire Lucky because it's just a little confusion, right? And and she starts spinning down, doesn't get taken out or anything, but yeah, there's a brief friendly fire thing in my confusion. Because actually, well, R5 is shooting, right? Which is going to be my excuse, but.
Okay. Sweet. That is terrible, Rakghoul. I love it. Start answer.
Okay. D6 for call sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Roll D6 for tactical, right?
Yep.
I will love to spend a bond with Rakghoul to add their systems to my roll. It's like, no, this is what I'm good at. Here, let me like spook their stuff. As you like program the droid and the little antenna pops out, circles around. Toot, toot, toot. Let's
That's
see.
good.
So let me lower that by 1. Can you spend multiple bonds? Doesn't say otherwise on it.
I think you have to spend burn for more than 1, but I'll double check.
You want us to spend all our burn, don't you?
I do. It's the
I
best.
don't think you're supposed to do it for charge, but
Bolster you.
if you use a bond,
no, I think you just use the bond. You just use the bond. You can use multiple bonds if you want.
Hound, would you be willing? Well, wait. Do I just spend my bond and I ask them to narrate how they're helping?
Yeah,
or
they will help. It's like nobody can refuse a bond thing.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna spend a bond with everyone because I'm feeling bad. I got yelled at earlier. I wasn't able to defend great. Buttercup set us up great. So, Hound, how would you like to? Do I ask which domain they lend me, or they just choose?
You asked for the domain.
Okay, yeah. I'm obviously so, and I can't roll more than the same domain twice.
Yeah,
Or,
you would need to mix up multiple domains.
Yeah. So I would love command from Hound and operations from Buttercup.
Yeah, and I think that
Technical from Buttercup, you mean?
No, because we have to roll tactical. So
Oh,
that's
okay,
the one
that's
I
right.
start with. Yeah.
And yeah, Buttercup goes. You're clear. You're clear to switch off.
Right. And Hound.
And Hound is like, that flank wasn't covered. Go hit it.
Nice.
Cool.
Newbie missed out.
That'll spend 2 burns to add my last charges of bullseye and sensors.
Lucky says he didn't miss everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, D4. So, wow, that's rough.
Wow.
And what's the target? I missed it. I'm pretty sure
I
it
think
was
so,
14,
too.
right?
Yeah, it was 14.
I got 13.
9, 10, 13. Oh, you suffer.
I'm going to throw the D10 to her.
Is there a
Throw the
D10 to
D10.
this round?
I got.
I don't think so.
There's no D10 this round. Okay, never
I
mind.
don't think for the finale.
Okay,
I wish.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
thought it
You
might be
suffer. It is a perilous pursuit. So you suffer. First of all, please roll a d12. Let's see who takes it.
So with the bonds, is that suffer harm? I don't like. Are they the
Yeah.
same word?
Yeah.
So what happens if you spend a bond to stop any harm? Does the die just not get rolled?
Die doesn't get rolled.
All right, I will spend another bond with Buttercup because
Yeah, I
I had
covered.
3.
I got her covered.
Okay. Nice. And then the last roll is Buttercup as, I think they're trying to get away. We've had 2 failures in the finale. So I think a couple of the Vanguard have like flipped out. Bogo's still around though. So what does this look like, Buttercup?
Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to I'm going to give them each the unpleasant choice of continuing their escape or getting me off their 6. Every fighter's favorite dilemma. Nods. So this is close engagement on Buttercup. I'm using my craft as an interceptor. I'm using tactical. I'm going to burn and shift power to weapons because that's how I roll. Let's see. And it's a 14, you said?
14.
No, I don't trust things enough. I'll do another burn.
Feel free to. I will gladly. Spend your bond on me. No problem.
I
feel like it should be opposite.
That you should spend a bond to help someone.
Yeah.
We'll do game design later.
Yeah.
We're near the end of the thing.
Sorry.
Let's get the right die rolling going.
Why not? It's friendly. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that Star Dancer is drawing fire, and ask for her operations die.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, and then the corkscrew comes in. The corkscrew to come in at a weird angle. I just flip the X-wing upside down for the benefit of the camera, and go in inverted.
Nice.
Just because what it does is it protects the astromech.
All right.
It because that's on top. All right. So I've got 2d6, 2d8s, and 2d4s. And this is an 18.
Yeah, there you go. So Boko does not make it out of here. You're able to invert, which surprises him, and you get tone. And before he engages with the hyperspace, you guys win the finale. So that is a hop. We got some other stuff to do here, which is assigning glory. So the
Earns glory. That's the highest roll, I think, is Buttercup with 18. Earns glory equal to the GM's result, which was 14.
Yep. So 14. Now, here's the way that it works. 14 glory goes to Buttercup. Glory is tracked for Buttercup at C5. So you get to type in 14 in that glory, Brandon.
There it is.
Now, everybody else gets half of that. Plus, if you suffered, then you get one more.
If you failed the roll, you don't get half, do you?
No, you do.
Oh, because it says prevailing hero.
Prevailing hero. Right. The other heroes, who prevail each earn half that.
Yeah.
Is there a special?
That's why I asked, because I'm like, two of us did not prevail, I don't think. So that's why I ask. So.
Prevailing hero highest. Yeah. Okay. That means that only Hound will get half of the 14 plus 1 for suffering during the threat. So you get 8, Hound. And that is, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was reading it differently.
I didn't know, like, it was the definition of prevail is confusing to me because is it just based off the final roll, or
I'm going to ask some Agon heads this question, and we've got this recorded, so we'll fix it.
Yeah.
And
later
so
if we need to.
Only the glory is only given in the finale. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think when a contest ends, glory is given, right?
Yes, Agon heads. That's what I need is Agon heads.
PBTA enthusiasts, Agon heads.
We will start next session with the R&R phase because of where we're at for time. I'd like to carve out these last 5 minutes for just a quick round of Stars and Wishes. If you have stuff in between the intervening weeks, feel free to shoot me an email, whatever you want. I'm going to be reviewing.
And I get one glory, right? Because glory is only in the finale for suffering. I suffered once, but not twice.
You suffered once, so you do get one glory.
Okay.
And Hound, you got 8. Rakul, you only suffered in the finale, so I don't get any.
I don't get any.
It seems to.
Oh, bummer.
It says a contest results in glory, right? So a contest. This is not the whole mission. But
I understand.
Okay.
Let's table this. Let's do the Stars of Wishes. I hear you. I'm also confused because I don't know if each of those phases was a contest or if the whole thing was a contest. So that's the part where.
Fair point.
And when I read the Agon cheat sheet, it only talks about that last finale. Prevailing hero, highest result is best, earns glory to the strife. So I'm just going to ask a couple of people who I know Agon way better than me to make sure. And I've got all this stuff and we have it in the die roller. So I'll circle back and we'll handle that at the beginning of next session. So let's quickly go through Stars and Wishes, starting with wishes. Wishes are, hey, this is a thing I'd like to get to, or like the whole rule system. I understand it was our first time. So if you've got like specific rules questions that you want to ask so that I can make sure and research them, I'm happy to. Greg, lead us off with wishes.
For sure. Wishes, I would like to fight Imperial Remnant or something at some point. Maybe as like an interruption to a training mission or something. I think that would be fun. I think and then the other wish would be I would love to, and happy to take the burden of doing it. Kind of make an A-wing, B-wing, X-wing, Y-wing configuration for the charges, or something like that. If you want to keep it the way it is, I totally understand that too. But if that's something people are interested in, I'm happy to, like, you know, make up, hey, you're in an A-wing, these are your options, and they're all still fictional. But this is an idea.
I think that's a good idea. Let's do it. It's a thing that I wanted to get to anyway. So
Can do.
Star Warsify those options. Steven, what wishes did you have?
So I had a couple. One was the layout of the rules tab. I would like to see the Fury squadron where we take harm placed in the rules tab off to the right. I think there's space there. That way I don't, you know, during this combat, I was flipping back and forth to see where that harm went. And I realized, oh, I want to see the rules. I want to be able to see what the threat level is, what stage we're at, what kind of thing I'm doing, and see how that harm is marked. So that's all I would ask, is either a duplicate or just move that page over into the rules page. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that I saw was the other wish that I have is, from my role, I selected commando because it has boarding actions in it, and I'd like to be able to board something. Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
Yeah. Like
and that doesn't mean,
I hear you. I think I could have
everything.
phrased the threat about the people being lost on the, like, not sure where to go on the ground where you had to board a thing. I think I could have phrased that a little better. So I just want to make sure I
took that a little bit more of
literally. Yeah. No, I get you. I feel like I could have set that up to sound more like boarding action made sense, and I didn't do that. I'm taking that feedback and trying to think of ways that I'll present stuff in future so that those particular things make more sense. Yeah. I want you guys.
The thing that I had in mind,
Starfighter.
Yeah, the thing that I had in mind was someone had to go in and grab someone from a ship. So I board from my X-wing some other ship while everyone else is fighting to keep me safe. Or if they want to board with me, that's great. I don't want to make everyone board. It's just that's one of the actions that could be taken. Yeah.
Love it. Brandon, what about you? What wishes did you have?
I wish to go up against something appalling like a Star Destroyer.
Okay.
At some point.
All right. And then Joe.
Narratively, looking forward to more like bonding scenes. So, you know, you said we're going to start with the R&R, so I presume that's that. I have a follow-up to Steven's boarding thing, because I love the idea of boarding in general. How does that work mechanically? Like, because I don't think there's any rules for hand-to-hand fighting in this.
Well, I mean, it will work exactly the same.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same. My call sign and which of these domains I'm engaging. So I think,
all right,
it could be any of those domains based on how you phrase it.
Yeah. Then the other
role in.
I don't know if this is a question, but like, do the flight system and combat system do anything other than just give aesthetics? Okay.
It's just aesthetics, which is why Greg made the very astute suggestion of, hey, let's Star Warsify that so that it kind of folds us back in. I was trying to like stick as close to Storm. I've hacked so much out of Storm Furies that was one of those last ones where I'm like, if I get to it, type deal. So, but yeah.
Then the other wish, I think, like, it's following up somebody else's, like, the rules. If the rules page were like more horizontally spread than vertically spread, I think it might be easier to read.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there.
Yeah,
I think even if I just take
going
spread it out, it actually looks a little easier to read.
Well, yeah,
I'd suggest you leave this as you want it or hide it, and we create another one. This is good for the first pass for us to read all the details, and I think now that we've been through a job, we just need we just need the summary. And we could refer to the detailed rules, but yeah.
Well, why I suggest like moving mine would be more columns, less rows, because like scrolling down to row 95 is like, all right, but like versus scrolling
Well,
horizontally.
it's
is
rules. I
easy.
may do a couple different layouts.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, if there's like a quick cheat sheet, but like my problem right now is that is different than what is written in the rules in certain things. So
okay. If you have those specific questions, Joe, that you want to
I'll
hit me
email.
up with in the thing, I've been actually tweaking and trying to adjust this as I go all week long, and there may
No
be
problem,
things that I missed. So anything you can do to help me out, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I second for a real quick cheat sheet. What the keywords mean, in particular, the benefit given for winning the contest at each stage. You know, there's just a few little things that that you have to flip through the rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
To see, and you can pull them out.
I have a specific rules question that's separate. Under the pop-up for expressions, it says charge 2 at the start of play, blah, blah, blah. Once 3 are marked, clear them and mark charged. Spin charged to take burn. To me, that kind of says there's a charge box that we need to mark.
It's the purple to the left.
Oh,
So if you're looking at it
under expressions.
exactly, under expression. So
Okay.
I think, or wait. Or is it, no. Actually, it's the darker yellow. So it looks like burn goes all the way down. So I should probably unmerge that.
Well, the clarification I have is I think some of the threats also indicated you mark charge.
Yes.
A lot of shared words, it feels like.
Yes, charged gets used in several different places.
So does that mean that you mark the charge for an emotion during daunting and arduous? Is the question I would have to look up.
That is a great question. I will find out that answer.
Fantastic. Sorry to give you all this homework.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind.
So I guess like I don't know if we have time for this, but like it says at the end of the mission, mark 1 for each pilot, including self. Should we do that now?
Mark 1 what? Oh, that's part of R&R.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Under
It's
expressions?
step 2. Yep. Each player marks assigns a mark to an expression for each pilot. So that's what we'll be leading off with.
Okay, because that's why I said
expressions, recovery.
Is R&R an end of, because like the quick hover says end of mission.
Yeah, it's the end of mission.
Okay.
Yeah, our hop is over. You guys will be doing R&R next. That handles commendations, which are really cool. Expressions for changing that, recovering burn, and then social, which allows you to do some bonds. All that will happen at the beginning of next session. I wanted to have it all in one, but
first session usual.
Yeah.
Usually combat also. So we're all learning.
Cool. And then the spending burn for charge, I have that as a note because on one hand, I thought that's what you're supposed to do. And on the other hand, as I read the Agon rules, I don't know for sure if that is because it's not called charge. It's called divine favor. And so you may invoke divine favor by calling on the strength of a god. You do add a D4 and spin a mark of divine favor. And then when I go to the rules, divine favor is charges and not pathos. Pathos is burn.
One thing to note on the divine favor, at least in Agon, is that you can, roll all 4 your D4s, only the highest one counts.
Really?
Yeah, if a hero uses multiple marks of divine favor on one roll, count the highest single D4.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I kind of that's great because it doesn't give you this like crazy overwhelming advantage. So I mean, good to know.
You could roll a lot of ones. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's D4s are notoriously capricious.
Yeah.
So it's good to roll 2 of them.
Yeah, like that explains a lot of the language that I'm seeing. Like if they're a god, add a D12. I'm like, what? What? You're a starship god? Okay.
Did I not catch one of the? Oh, I did the best I could. Find and replace everything I could.
The other note, maybe to look up, is the bonds thing, Because when we do the hover over, it says lending you a domain die, but in the rules it says they lend you their call sign die.
Yeah, I noticed
yeah.
that too. That is really weird.
When I did Starfighters, it was the call sign time.
Okay, that seems that
Star Furies.
I feel like that makes sense because it's universally 6.
Until there's enough glory that it pushes it up.
Right, right.
And then, for me, the rule to look up is whether glory is handed out at for each contest, which I think it is, rather than for the battle. It seems to me in Star Furies that it was given for each contest.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, each phase is a contest. Okay.
Each phase of the contest.
So in other words, in this case, there would have been three glory awards.
3 glory awards. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, we're way past time.
Yep.
So
Sorry, but
no.
questions.
I'm not. Yeah, let's call it here. If you got anybody who wants to like bounce out some stars, hit it, the email or via Slack. I'm gonna let everybody go, and thank you all so much for the patient feedback. This will get better. It's gonna.
Sorry, I was late.
Oh, let's go.
All right,
Great start.
see you guys.
I enjoyed our
Next
friendly
time.
competition.